Hi again guys, welcome back to my channel. It's update on the Skaven army time. Now, let's take a look how I got on during the third month of the army painting challenge. My submission this time was going to be 3 of the warp fire thrower teams, 6 poison wind globadiers, 1 doom wheel, and the chief warlock himself, Ikit claw. Probably the most exciting but challenging month yet. Mainly because I've got very little experience in painting bigger models like the Doom Wheel, or even really many characters. I've mostly just done infantry and your rank and file stuff, so it was going to be a new experience for me and really exciting, really challenging. My painting has always been focused on getting the monster tables complete for Warhammer Quest, the original 1995 edition, which doesn't include many large figures on large bases because they just don't fit in the dungeon tile section. So they don't really feature too much on the monster table lists, so this will be a new experience for me. I usually give a day-by-day breakdown on these update videos, but this time I'm going to probably do it by the week just to mix it up a little bit, and I haven't really got too much going on a daily basis on this one. It was mostly done in chunks, weekly chunks, so I'll update you all and do it in that format instead. Week 1. So the first week was mostly spent on eBay again. You'd be surprised to hear if you watched the last video. I picked up a lot which had giant rats in there and a packmaster, a metal lot. I think there was 11 giant rats and a packmaster. So that was, let me just take a look, that was £16 including delivery. So what was next? Oh, a Skaven warlord on the day after, I think I bought that, was next on the buy it list. So that was really cheap at £6 delivered. I don't know too much about this guy, so if you do know anything about him, do let me know down below, but he was cheap, I do know that. He looked pretty cool, so I think a bargain. I'm not sure, it might have been a Games Day figure, I've just never seen him before, maybe he was a bit later and after my time in the hobby. So next I found a classic standard bearer with his banner top that had broken off, and he was only £3.50, so absolute bargain. I snapped him up. And my plan there was to convert him to hold like a really large banner. I really like the big banner look on armies, and I haven't seen a Skaven one done before, so I thought it might be quite funny to put some pictures of like rats dressed as kings, rat kings, and maybe some cartoon rats on the banners. I don't know, something a bit funny maybe. I do like a bit of humour in my Warhammer, but I also didn't want to completely ruin all the classic metal models and cut all the standard bearers poles off and make my own, you know, so it was good to find one that was already broken that I can reuse and remodel into something brand new. So yeah, I'll be collecting broken ones for the cause on this project. If anyone's got any broken ones that they want to send me, go ahead and do it. So now the next eBay purchase really annoyed me. After months and months of searching for Ikit Claw's backpack, I thought I'd finally found it. It was a listing on its own up for 99p, no reserve, £2.70 postage. Great, absolutely fantastic, I thought. £3.70 all in. Nobody else bid on it. I won the auction. Amazing, so I wait for the delivery, and 4 days later the envelope arrives, but it is just the envelope, nothing inside it, big slit down the side. So how annoying is that? I got so close. Refunded from the seller, but that's not really an issue. The money wasn't a problem. It was just the chances of finding that backpack again, slim to none. So, especially at a decent price like that. So yeah, gutted, but it's the way she goes sometimes. That's the world of eBay and the British Postal Service. My quest for that one's going to have to continue another time. My last eBay purchase for the week, and the month actually, was another unit I didn't really need, as I already had some of them. But £43 for 25 metal storm vermin. Who can say no to that? I couldn't say no, so I snapped them up, and they included a command, some interesting extras like there was a metal warlord in there, an old time one, and a really old sensor bearer, one of the original ones, I think. So probably my bargain of the project so far. How could I turn it down? Yeah, I was really happy with that, even though I don't really need them. So week 2, and the painting finally started. I decided to start big, go on the Doom wheel to begin with, and it took me the whole week to complete that, even without doing the base or the banner for it. So I say completed, it was, you know, more or less completed. Which I only just added the base and the banner actually to get some of the proper pictures done, so I'll show you that. I did deliberate over the colours to use on this for absolutely ages, and eventually I went for something a bit like the box art, but with slightly less black, just to compensate for the fact it was going to be on a black dungeon base. So I didn't want it to just be, you know, complete blackout. I added a bit of like wood on the wooden parts rather than it being painted black on this. So what else did I change? Oh yeah, the warlock rider that was on there, I painted him split with the white and purple robes, which is to match the rest of my army. And I did eventually order the 60 by 80 base that you can see him on. I had to get an MDF one because they just don't make plastic ones for some reason. So yeah, that arrived and I got him finished. I printed the Skaven army book banner page onto some 210 GSM card and then painted it with washes and glazes. I think it came out quite well in the end. I was really pleased with that. So the entire week was taken up doing the Doom Wheel. I didn't get anything else done. So week 3, a steady week of painting, which yielded 3 Warpfire thrower teams that I submitted at the start. And I've gone for a retina burning yellow scheme on them, which I think is suitably 90s. I could easily have spent another week on these guys, really pushing the highlights. And a big part of me really wanted to, but I also wanted to get the rest of this stuff painted that I pledged. I wanted to get the whole army done eventually, and if I spent ages doing all highlights on every single model, I was never going to get it done. So you've just got to accept at some point you've got to leave it be and call them done. So that's what I did. I put them down and I moved on. Towards the end of the week, I started one of the Poison Wind Globadiers in usual fashion, just to try and establish what colour scheme I was going to use on the rest of them. And I only had a week left to finish 6 of them, and Ikit Claw as well. So it was going to be a real tight squeeze getting these done in time. Week 4 and 7 solid days of painting Poison Wind Globadiers. Now these have always been some of my favourite sculpts, and painting them definitely didn't disappoint. It was another one of those times where I could easily have spent hours more highlighting, adding extra details, and I just didn't want to stop painting. It took a lot of discipline to call them done at the point where I did, but I had to do that so I could at least make a start on Ikit, keeping to my pledge as promised. So I put a bit of extra effort into the globes on the Poison Wind Globadiers, just to give them a bit of interest, and given an extra time on these models, I probably would have added some decoration to the sleeves and to the bottom of the robes as well. I probably would have spent a bit more time on the backpacks, but as it goes, people don't really see those too much on the photos, so it was somewhere I could cut back, save a little bit of time. It was now the 30th of July, so I stayed up all night painting Ikit. And when I was painting the Doom Wheel, I decided at that point that all the warlocks in the army were going to be painted with the purple and white split robes. So that's what Ikit got as well, being as though he was the chief warlock, he had to set a good example. So as with the other models this month, he wasn't going to get my full attention. There just wasn't enough time, and I had to pick a few bits for him to sort of push the highlights and add a bit of interest. Decided his weapons would probably be the focal point, so I added some strong highlights on there, concentrated on doing like the warp effect on the top of his weapon, whatever weapon that might be, a glaive or a scythe or something, I don't know. So I got him finished on the 2nd of August, just before the final pledge thread went up on the Facebook page for the submissions, so I was just in time with that one, even though he was into August. So I was going to count him as done within the month. I think that's acceptable. I didn't have a backpack for him, so due to the circumstances I explained earlier in the video. So when I do eventually find one, I'll probably touch up any bits on him that need an extra highlight or two at the same time when I'm painting the backpack. That brings me to the end of month 3's painting, and I've got one more retrospective video for you to catch up on from August 2023, and then we will be fast forwarding all the way to the start of this year, 2024, where I'm up to now on the army. So I'll catch you all in the next one.